go out and I'm at like Target or something and they're like, oh, like you're the in-game host. Like I love what you did last weekend. It was so amazing. I'm trying to get a job, like a second job doing something. The woman I'm like interviewing with, she's like, oh my God, I knew I recognized your name. Like you're the in-game host. Like I love what you did last weekend. Like the fact that the community here is so tight knit and so close. Again, it's like a town of 25,000. It's just like, and the front office is part of that, it's such a unique and fun experience that I'm like so glad to have.
Joining me now on Cousins Conversations, Lily Schutzenhofer. I had to write that down to make sure I get it correct, but I got it correct because I have to give respect to a Chicago Jayhawk. She's joining me from Watertown, South Dakota. She is the in-arena host and on-air personality for the Watertown Shamrocks, who are in the NAHL. Lily, just give me a little idea of what you've been doing so far, getting involved in this role here only a couple weeks in.
Yeah, first, thank you so much for having me. Us Jayhawks have to stick together, especially
right.
Chicago Jayhawks, obviously. So I am the Watertown Shamrocks in-arena host and on-air personality, as you said. I moved here 2 weeks ago from Plainfield. I finished up with the Kane County Cougars this summer. Shout out, a great American Association team back home. And then immediately picked up and I moved in with a billet family, which is a very hockey style situation. Me and the other girl I am interning with are living with this family that so kindly offered to house us. So in the office, I'm there pretty much every day from like 10 to 3. And then we do a lot of prep, obviously. And then game days are Fridays and Saturdays around here. This weekend is our home opener on Saturday night. We only have Saturday because the team we're playing is only an hour and a half away. So they try and split those series. But yeah, I'm so excited. This weekend was my first 2 games. It was preseason games. And I hosted all the in-arena games. We did a sled dog kind of style game on the ice. We did a trivia game, a name game. And then I did a first intermission interview with our assistant coach, Griff Jeska. He's awesome. And then we got the win. So on Saturday, so I got to do a post-game interview with our goalie, Mason Goodridge. So it's been the craziest 2 weeks of my life, but I love it. Working in the NAHL with these kids has been so fun. They're all like from ages 16 to 20. So they're like really trying to make their start in hockey. They've been playing their whole lives. Like these kids, it means everything to them. And so I'm glad that I can be here to give them a platform.
How are you adapting to this position? Because you're kind of just going right into it, it sounds like.
It's been a lot. So we're the first intern class that the Shamrocks have had. This is their second year as a team. So last year was like trial by fire. And then this year they brought in us as interns, me obviously for like all on air and in arena stuff. Sarah, who I live with, who is their digital content, and then Kyle, who's also doing like digital content stuff. So the 3 of us have pretty much just been like, what can we do to help y'all? So definitely a weird transition, but the front office, it's so small. They're a great group of people. There's like 4 of us or 4 of them, and then 3 of us in the front office. So it's definitely a tight-knit group, which I appreciate because it is so hands-on and because it's so like new for everyone. We're all kind of figuring it out, which is nice. I definitely, with working for the Cougars this past summer, I was on their promotions team. So I worked really closely with our MC over there, Kaylee. She's awesome. So I definitely had a lot of like, not hands-on, but like a lot of learning experience watching her do baseball emceeing. The hardest part is just transitioning back to hockey because I've worked so much baseball the past couple summers that I'm like, as much as I love hockey and I love watching hockey, that's my favorite sport. It's definitely like shifting to a working hockey mindset has been like probably the hardest part because again, with baseball, you have your minute and a half pretty much between every inning versus hockey. You have 20 minutes to fill space, but also, you have to hit all your ad reads and you have to hit like, there's a million other things to hit in 20 minutes versus just the minute and a half. So that's probably been the hardest transition. But again, I'm so happy to be back in hockey. So I can't complain.
They have to get those ads in. That's what makes the money, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you look at the flow of just the game dynamics of everything, how are you adapting to that and getting used to that flow, getting in like a routine?
Yeah, I mean, the past 2 games, I think the thing with hockey is it's pretty structured in intermissions. Like we have a rundown, obviously like a baseball rundown, but because it's way more like we have a little bit more time, we are able to build out a little bit more. So again, like our the example we've been using for our like first intermissions is again my interview with Griff as soon as he comes off the ice and like walks around through the tunnel. I interview him right away. While I'm doing that, our t-shirt cannon golf cart with our mascot Donnybrook is heading out. And then as soon as I'm done with Griff, I jump on there and we're doing the t-shirt cannon. And then while we're doing that, our president Ryan is setting up the on ice game. So she's bringing out contestants, explaining to them what they're doing. We finish the t-shirt cannon. I'm hopping off. I'm on the mic still, and I'm like, now we're doing this game, whatever the in arena on ice game is. So and then we do the game, and then luckily I have a breather after that, so I get to take a minute off the ice. A lot of the time, I'm also doing a lot of like the post game notes write up for the weekend. So I'm trying to watch the game obviously as much as possible whenever I'm not doing in arena hosting stuff. So I'm like taking notes and like assessing what notes I'd written in the first period about the first period. So it's definitely, I mean, again, it's all trial by error. We're all trying to figure it out, but we have a pretty solid schedule built out right now. So it's kind of just like switching things up so it doesn't get boring, it doesn't get repetitive. And like, again, switching what games we're doing and stuff like that. So the second period is definitely a bit more chaotic because hockey, we have media timeouts or like versus like in other sports, like where it's like it's very similar to baseball or basketball in that way. So, but the issue is the media timeouts don't always happen. So when we do schedule something for a media timeout, it's like having a contestant here ready, having the mobile cam here ready, and being like, hey, I'm really hoping this is going to happen, but you never know. They might not call a whistle. There might not be a stop and play. Luckily, this weekend, both second media times out, so I was able to do the games that we had planned for those. But that's, I think, probably the weirdest part of hockey is, again, like with those media timeouts, like you're up in the air and you're telling the contestant, you're like, hey, I really hope this happens, but be prepared, it might not. And if it does, it could happen anywhere between 7 minutes and 4 minutes on the clock. So you're on standby basically, but it's super fun. And I love the fast, high pace environment. Like, and definitely because this is like a smaller organization, we don't have as many hands on deck. My game day role changes all the time because again, you never know who's going to need somebody and like stuff like that. So again, I love the constant change of pace, the constant moving. We're all definitely settling in though. Again, with regular season coming up, it's been a process, but I love it. So
Yeah, you mentioned it's like all hands on deck, like even your
Mhm.
president's out there doing stuff.
Literally.
With your with your front office,
Mhm.
working together closely with them, how much does that create a good team dynamic for everybody?
It's so amazing. Like again, my president is in the office every day and she's young too, so she's figuring this out as she goes. And then our broadcast guy who's also like they're both kind of my boss, but Blake was the one who hired me. He's in the office every day. Anne is in the office. Like we have a really, again, I came in the first day and I knew everyone. Like, and it didn't take much time for all of us to bond because we're spending a lot of time together. So, and again, we do like on Thursday, we go downtown and do trivia every day, like as a front office. So, like, it's definitely like everybody here is already bonded and they've taken us interns in and just been like, here, you're a part of this now too. Like, it's very much bonded and all of these people like each other. Like, on top of like being coworkers, like they spend time with each other and they do things together in the community, like that's outside of the Shamrocks. So definitely I enjoy having the small front office. And like again, we're in the office every day, but we don't have a desk. So half the time we're all just like switching desks and rotating, like what intern is where. And it's just like, again, it's very close knit and everybody likes each other, which is awesome. So, and then on game days, again, we all, because we're so close, like work together super well because we have this relationship outside of a game day, outside of the office and in the office. So it's honestly, it's really different because again, it's hard. You don't see a lot of organizations this small, but it's I love it. Ideally, I would like to stay with something like this where everybody knows each other because it is such a comfortable environment. So
And when it's your first job too, it's super helpful with that
mhm,
mental side of things because you're moving to a different place. You don't know a
right.
whole lot of people. So that's like certainly helpful that like you guys go to trivia and stuff. That's
Right.
that's really, really cool. How did you get into the love of hockey? Like you mentioned that like you want to be in hockey or baseball.
Yeah.
So where was that love for hockey start for you?
So I actually never played sports. I danced growing up. That was my thing. My mom and my dad decided to put me and my sister in dance. So that's what we always did. But my mom was super athletic growing up, like a three-sport athlete throughout high school. Her brothers all played baseball. She played softball, volleyball. My dad actually is where my love for hockey comes from. He didn't actually ever play like youth hockey, but he rollerbladed. And then in his 20s, he met guys that like played hockey. So with rollerblading and roller skating, very easy to transition on the ice. So he still plays hockey to this day, still plays men's league. So definitely, and between him and his love for it in his 20s when he was meeting my mom, they both obviously decided that they loved hockey together. And so with that, we had season tickets growing up for the Blackhawks. I think from pretty much when I can remember to COVID, we had season tickets and we went to a decent amount of games every year. Like I have, vivid memories like as a little girl, like at the United Center. My sister is 2.5 years younger than me. I have vivid memories of her like falling asleep at games because it was past her bedtime. Like interactions with Tommy Hawk because like he'd come by our section and he'd pick up my sister and like it just between that and then again growing up in Chicago, hockey is everywhere. The Blackhawks won 3 and 5 years while my parents had season tickets. We went to a good amount of the playoff games. Like it just kind of engulfed my world. And then, especially, this is a really fun fact. A lot of dance families are also hockey families. So, a lot of the girls I dance with, a ton of their brothers all played. So, like, we were even more surrounded by like a hockey community because half of the people that we were friends with dance also loved hockey. So, we'd all go to games together. A couple St. Patrick's days, I danced at the United Center for my dance group because, like, it was just the world's mixed really well. So, and then again, with my goal has always been to work in hockey just because I know it like the back of my hand. And same with baseball. That's all my mom. My mom grew up playing softball and her brothers all played baseball. So grew up diehard Cubs fans. And I my ideal world, I'd work baseball in the summer and hockey in the winter. So that's the end goal.
Blackhawks dynasty, of course. That
Mhm.
was good times for me in high school and early college there. Remembering those wins,
Oh yeah.
big time. But now we'll see. I don't
Bad.
know. That's
Yeah.
kind of my reaction is I don't know.
Yeah.
And then yeah, you mentioned you're a Cubs fan
Mhm.
from Plainfield, but where's that the Cubs fans loyalty go? Because usually it's like you either north side, south side, or it's family. With me, I'm
Right.
north side as a Sox fan, but it's in my family. My dad, I grew up going to the
Mhm.
games with my dad because he worked on the south side and had tickets to his work.
Of
So what
course.
is it for you?
I would say it mostly comes from my grandma. My mom's mom is from the north side of Chicago. She's north side Irish. So definitely strong Cubs bonds there on the north side Irish. So like, obviously my mom grew up a Cubs fan. So I grew up a Cubs fan. I will say I do not hate the White Sox. I have no unless it's a crosstown cup, the White Sox can do whatever they want over there on the south side. I really enjoy going to the stadium. It's fun. I am a Cubs fan, but I have no hatred towards the White Sox, which not every Cubs fan can say. I'm a little I again, if the Cubs aren't in town, I'll go over to a Sox game. I'm not die hard on the hill that we have to hate each other. So definitely, obviously, lean Cubs. That's where my allegiance lies. I love Wrigley. It's the best place on earth, I would say. Maybe up there with United Center. I go back and forth. But I definitely lean Cubs. Don't hate the Sox, though.
That's good. I respect that. I respect that. With your job, you mentioned growing up pretty much
Mhm.
at the United Center was what,
Yeah.
and being involved with Blackhawks games and things like that. So you built up that knowledge base
Mhm.
of the sport, and I think that's important to like have the knowledge of the sport if you're going to cover it. So
Oh,
how
yeah.
over time did you kind of build up that knowledge base, and how has it helped you in your job?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I'm that friend if we are somewhere and we are like, again, all just sitting around, like I'm the one who has my phone out with ESPN on, watching whatever game is going on. I'm that annoying friend. I'm sorry to all my friends. I love you guys and I love spending time with you, but my teams come first. Like that's just who I am. And I grew up in a family like when it was, again, it's a Wednesday night. I'm in high school, middle school, whatever. We're sitting on the couch as a family after dinner. Like the Blackhawks are on. Like that's just how it works. Like you didn't have a choice. Like if you wanted to watch TV after dinner, like it was going to be sports that was on basically. Like that's how I grew up. And between that and, not being forced, but like my parents encouraging like me to watch sports, and because they love it, they're like, hey, this is what we're doing, you now love it basically. I just kind of gained a lot of like random knowledge, which I would say a lot of like sports fans and people who want to work in sports, like you just kind of start like your brain becomes like index files of like different teams. And I would say of all the leagues, I know the NHL the best and I know the Blackhawks the best. Like you just start accumulating a lot of knowledge. And eventually, like when I was deciding what I wanted to go to college for and where I wanted to go, it kind of was like I thought I was going to go into political science and go into law school and work in politics. That's what I thought, whatever. And then my mom was like, you can like make a career out of working in sports, right? And I was like, oh, wait a minute. All that useless knowledge I've been accumulating for years can go to somewhere that like actually is a career. So that was kind of like the aha moment of like, oh, I've been accumulating this for a good reason. So definitely just consuming as much sports content. I listen to a lot of podcasts, just basically as much of my time as I can. I try and dedicate it to learning because that's the only way to grow as a sports fan, as a sports content creator, like is just accumulating knowledge. So I definitely try and do it as much as I can with as much free time as I have.
With all the crazy game day operation stuff you have to do
Mhm.
alongside with your job, like how much more do you just appreciate that side of the job to see all the different factors? Because as you move up, that's like
Yeah.
the reward is you don't have to do as much.
It's definitely, especially with such a small organization, seeing how much these people care and how many different roles everybody just voluntarily takes on. Like, it's amazing. Like, I would say no person in that front office and even on that staff has one sole job. Like, everybody, it's all hands on deck. Everybody wants to help and they care so much. And, like, that's definitely one of the positives of working for such an organization. Like, it's been such a learning experience in that way, especially because I've come from working for Kane County, which not a big organization by any means. Like they're still American Association, but definitely like Kane County has built themselves in the suburbs to be, the option for minor league baseball, I would say. So definitely like that. I mean, I worked on the promotions team with a staff of 7 others. We have an MC, like we have a full blown like promotions team. Whereas here, I mean, it's me and the president, and we kind of have to like figure it out. And we pick contestants, that we know in the community and that are like willing to do silly stuff that we have planned. And it's definitely a lot more family oriented. And again, I love my Cougar family. We are all still close. They made it to the Miles Wolf Cup, one game won last night. Big deal. We were all texting. But here it's truly like you have each other and you just got to figure it out. Like I mean, with, again, the fact that I can say, like, the president is down there on the ice helping with me and doing promotional games, like, it's so cool and it's so unique, I think. And, like, before I was here last year, she was the MC. Like, during game days, that's what she was doing because they didn't have an intern. They didn't have somebody in a position to do that. So she was out there on the ice doing it, which I think is so cool. Like, and again, having that direct line with the community of her face being known by everyone, everybody knowing her is so cool. And like, I love that I have that relationship with, like, I'm starting to build that relationship with community members because, like, I go out and I'm at, like, Target or something and they're like, "Oh, like, you're the in-game host. Like, I love what you did last weekend. It was so amazing." I'm trying to get a job, like a second job doing something. The woman I'm, like, interviewing with, she's like, "Oh my God, I knew I recognized your name. Like, you're the in-game host. Like, I love what you did last weekend." Like, the fact that the community here is so tight-knit and so close. Again, it's like a town of 25,000. It's just like, and the front office is part of that, you know? It's such a unique and fun experience that I'm, like, so glad to have.
Yeah, that's how it goes. People start to recognize you and
Mhm.
like your work and just watch you for your work and things like that. It's a cool experience.
Yeah.
You mentioned the living with like a host family. A
Mhm.
lot of teams do that, like minor league baseball. You see that. Some other minor league hockey teams, you see that. What's that experience like to live with a host family?
Yeah, so I kind of came into this and I was like, "So, I'm technically an intern. What's the plan?" Like, I don't really want to be spending, all my money on housing and food if I don't have to. And they were like, "Oh no, like, we offer billeting." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So, like, it's such a crazy thing that, like, two interns are living with a host family. But again, they connected us right away with Ashley and Jesse, who are, like, my host parents. They're amazing. We got 3 dogs. I love them. They're so cute. And then again, I'm living with one of the other interns, Sarah, she had an even bigger move. She came from North Carolina all the
Oh
way
wow.
here.
Yeah.
So her and I are in this together, definitely. And it's been like go, go, go. Like, I swear, I love Ashley and Jesse have kept us on our toes. Like, we're always doing something, which again, I really love because I love being out there in the community and meeting new people, and they know everybody and, like, they're able to introduce us and basically, take us to places where people are all knowing each other. Like, it's been so much fun. Again, people think it's weird. I love it. I have my own room. I have a huge walk-in closet, which I love. I need. And Sarah and I have the basement level to ourselves. We have a living room, our 2 rooms, a bathroom we share. And again, Ashley and Jesse have been nothing but welcoming, and they've made some great dinners for us. We had smash burgers the other night. Delicious. Like, and again, it's like people are afraid that they're not going to have, like, free will and that they're going to make a million rules. I'm very lucky. Ashley and Jesse are just like, be respectful. Our home is your home. And I really wouldn't have it any other way. Like, especially because if I moved here to an apartment all by myself, who would I really know? How would I learn to meet people? Where would how would I learn where to go, like, without them? So I'm super thankful for them and opening their home to 2 random girls from across the country. And they're huge Shamrocks fans as well. So, like, they're at every game cheering us on as well as the team. Ashley, I sent her, I was like, "Hey, my mom obviously can't come to games. Like, here's her number. Would you be able to, like, send her pictures and videos of what I do?" And she was like, "Of course, more than happy to." And, like, so she's, keeping my mom updated. And it's like having a second family, truly. And I would not change this for the world. I'm super lucky.
Having a basement to yourself sounds pretty nice too.
I
Not
know.
gonna lie. With the players and establishing that relationship, having to interview them, the coaches, how are you adjusting to that, getting used to
Yeah.
talking to those players every day, talking to those coaches every day?
It's definitely a not a hard transition, but it's interesting because, again, the guys I'm working with on this team are anywhere from 16 to 20 years old. Like, they're objectively babies. Like, they're young. Like, some of the guys, like, have never had media training and have never really had the opportunity to talk to somebody that's, like, considered a media figure. So definitely like easing them into this process in these 2 weeks. With the players, I've done 2 or 3 pregame interviews, which again, super easy questions of just like, I did 2 of the newcomers. I was like, hey, how's your transition been? Just kind of like, I don't want to give them hard hitting, crazy questions, especially for a pregame interview. They're like post practice, their brain is a little mushy already, I'm sure. So just kind of like easing them into the process, introducing myself any opportunity I can. This past Saturday, we had a learn to skate program that a couple of the guys came and helped out at. So I offered to be there. I was like, yeah, like I'd love to come help, whatever I can do. So in that, that kind of environment, I got to introduce myself to the guys that I hadn't met. And I was like, hey, like, I'm Lily. And they were like, oh, cool. Like, and we all just kind of talked. And like, it was very much just trying to keep it like normal. Like, I'm not scary. I'm not intimidating. I'm not here to quiz you. Like, I'm just trying to get a little information out for the broadcast, for the fans. Definitely like trying to keep it as chill and as low key as possible for them to, again, this is their first season in Watertown. This is their first season in the NAHL. So like just trying to ease them in. And for those guys who are returners, who are maybe in their final year of eligibility, giving them the spotlight to be able to, hopefully get them some college offers so they can, make some commitments and stuff like that. Definitely, like, I want to consider myself as like a platform for these guys to, get their name out there. So that's definitely on the player side. That's what I'm aiming. And then on the coaching side, again, like because our front office is so small, half the time they're in there hanging out with us. So I definitely getting to know the coaches. Griff is super, super cool. He was nervous and I was like, Griff, I'm not here to quiz you. Like, I promise, like, I want to give you questions to give the audience and to give, the in arena fans some insight. Like, that's all I'm here to do. Like, I'm not here to challenge you. I'm not here to give away your game plan to the other teams. So again, just kind of easing everybody into the process of having like a media figure. I know, because again, obviously my boss Blake has been doing he's been doing most of these interviews. Last year he did them all. But it's transitioning over to a new person, I think, is kind of difficult for everyone just because they were so used to him. But I'm like, guys, I swear I'm a normal person. Like, I'm a journalist, but at the end of the day, like, I'm here to help you. So that's been the biggest thing. Just showing everybody that I am a normal person, and I swear I am not going to quiz you.
Ask them what they have for breakfast too. That always gets them going.
Right.
That's a good conversation starter.
Mm-hmm.
You also mentioned just the fact that like the people in the front office did your roles previously or did some sort of your role previously. So how did you create this opportunity for yourself, or how did you find out about it?
Yeah, I the cliche answer, teamwork online. Of course, I saw it and I saw hockey and I saw an arena host and I was like, absolutely. Like, that's exactly what I want to do. Like, that was my next step post grad. I was like, again, I knew I was going to go back and work for the Cougars all summer because they're amazing, great organization. And I knew I was like, I can do this all summer, feel comfortable, build up a little extra income, and then see what the fall has in store for me. And then as soon as I saw that position, I want to say in maybe March of this year, and I applied. I did 2 rounds of interview, one with Blake, who's again on the broadcast side, and then one with Ryan, who is the president. And again, they both were super like honest, which I think was the biggest thing for me. Like, they didn't, again, there was no like harsh realities, but like they very much told me like what they expected and what this role kind of entailed and how working for a smaller front office works. And they were just like real people with me, I think, and not just like figureheads, doing an interview. Like, it was very like, I think my first interview with Blake, we talked for like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, just like about everything and like what the position is like, what the town is like. And definitely just like, again, I connected immediately because we just had that opportunity and they were both real people with me. And they kind of, again, I think to some extent they wanted to get those things off their plates, which understandably they're so stretched thin. If they were doing all the jobs I was doing, I'm already like, holy cow, I'm so busy all the time. And especially like with Ryan, she's like, I'm not exactly an on air, I'm not exactly a in front of the camera person. So I was like, I am perfect. And with Blake, he's up in the booth, like calling the game. And he's like, I don't have time to be running around, doing a post game interview, catching that first period interview. Like I need somebody to do it for me. And I was like, sounds good to me. Like I basically, I take great pride in the fact that I was able to like take jobs that I love and want to do off their plate. And definitely I think it's making things move a lot smoother throughout a game day and even in the week leading up. Like today, I will go into the office after this and I'm doing a feature interview on one of our returners, which Blake would have had to do, and he on top of his broadcast prep for the weekend. So like it's moments like that where I'm just like, I'm so thankful for this opportunity to again be able to showcase my skills and be able to do interviews and be able to have all the opportunities that I want on top of, helping out these people that have mean so much to me already. Like I just see how it's like, they're chilling out on game days because I'm like, trust me, I've got it. Like I don't worry about it. So I think it's definitely a fun give and take of like, again, I get these opportunities and they get to relax a little bit more. So
Yeah, not a lot of people can say that, like, you're
Mhm.
helping somebody out like that. That's nice for a first job.
Right.
And, and then, I have to ask about Playmakers, getting,
Of course.
involved with that, being the OG, I guess.
Mhm.
Yeah, and you did hockey stuff, you said, weekly stuff, baseball stuff.
Yeah.
So how did those those things help you, going in, like
Yeah.
working with the Cougars, working with the Shamrocks, having that base already, working with Playmakers?
Yeah, I would say I joined my second semester of sophomore year. And again, I am not technically a journalism school graduate. I majored in sports management and minored in journalism, but I was basically like 6 credit hours short of a journalism double major. So at this point, I would consider myself a J school student, but I had the opportunity. I was, friends with people in the J school. I knew Chad, obviously, last week, shout out. I knew Emily, and I was just kind of like, I knew Carson Shea, and it was like, hey, like, I want to do something sports related, media related. I've never been on camera, but like, I just want to try it out. And luckily at that time, it was Lily and Caroline, amazing, such good producers. I was so glad. I was so lucky that they were my first producers because they were just like, yeah, we got you. Like, let's like brought me in open arms and we're like, here you go. Like, you got it. I think my first, oh my gosh, Cal played this at like our senior like dinner. My first segment I did with Richie Obaid. We did NHL. Oh God, I think it was All-Star game coverage. I think I had a total of 10 words the entire segment. I kind of just sat there and nodded while Richie talked. But I think I needed that experience of like, hey, like this is your first time on camera. We'll ease you into it. Definitely to make me realize, oh my God, I love this. Like I want to do this. So I had my first year with them. I did a little bit of everything. Obviously, my first year, junior year, first semester, studied abroad, came back second semester, and it was Chad and Emily. And definitely felt like my role stepped up a little bit in that year just because I was a junior and I had a semester under my belt. And I would say definitely like Lily Hennick is like my best friend in the entire world. Her and I met through Playmakers. I don't know what I would have done without that girl. So I'm so thankful. Her and I, our bread and butter was that B block pro sports. So it was either me throwing it to her throwing it to me. She did a lot of F1 and football. I did a lot of hockey, baseball. So definitely the two of us, we were cranking out scripts every week and we were coming up with new topics every Friday after the show to be like, hey, this is what's going on. Like, let me just crank out another script. I would say, honestly, the repetition of being able to just be like, hey, I've got an idea for this week. Let me, I'll turn a script for it was probably the biggest help just because every week I was kind of like on my toes trying to figure out what's the best next topic, what's the best pro sports topic I can talk about. I got a lot of reps in of just, script writing and definitely like being that comes back to like why, why I love sports so much is being aware of what's always going on around me, having the Athletic blowing up my phone pretty much every day with notifications. But just like, I think in these past, the 3 years I did Playmakers, I was just constantly thinking and constantly always thinking about, oh, I can write a story about this. Oh, this is interesting. I can do a story on this. Like, that I think built my brain to where I am now, where I can, on the fly, I'm like coming up with these questions for these guys I'm interviewing and coming up with a story that I can talk about. Like, it definitely was able, I got a lot of experience of just thinking on my toes and constantly being aware of what's happening around me in sports. And that definitely is translated here in my organization, just being able to like be like, hey, we want you to talk to this player, and being able to immediately come up with storylines of,
Mhm.
again, like my interview today, Joe Rice is a returner. This is his last year of eligibility. And like being able to ask him, like, what has the Shamrocks meant to you? What is your future plans after your last year of eligibility here? And I think, again, having that ability to constantly think about stories has just been able to give me this opportunity to constantly think on my toes and constantly be searching for a story. So it was, again, I'm so thankful. I brought me one of my best friends and a family for life. This past Friday, me and all the other seniors that graduated were in the comment section of the live and being like, "Oh my god, I miss you all so much. You all look so great." Like, just stuff like that. Like, I'm so thankful that I had the opportunity to be on Playmakers and learn what I did and meet the amazing people I did.
It's good to see that because
Mhm.
that's exactly like what we wanted to be when we started it, and we're still a lot of us are still friends from the original group too, so
Yeah.
that's cool, and that's funny too with Cal. That's such a Cal move to do something like that.
I was like, "Come on, Cal, like, that's what you're gonna choose to show?" I literally said 10 words. I was like, "Okay, it's
Yeah,
fine."
I remember when I went back and he had me talk to some students, he was showing, like, old clips of me, and I'm like, "No, like, bad fashion sense, like, not
Like,
even
literally
matching with a
cover my
shirt and
eyes
tie,
because I
nothing
can't
like
watch
that."
this.
That's crazy. No, that's crazy, but no, it's good because and that's a really important too to, like, know going in, like, finding
Mhm.
storylines, making connections with people. Because I remember, like, for Playmakers for us, we broadcasted the soccer games, we did some
Yeah,
volleyball games, so, like, you're making those relationships with the SIDs, the players,
right.
like, Final Four my senior year down in San Antonio, like, all the best
Yeah,
players already knew me, so it was, like, super easy to talk to them in the
yeah,
locker room, and so that's, like, super important going in because and that already gives you a leg up too. Because some of these other people who coming into the industry, they don't know, like, how to do that stuff. It's
yeah.
and you think it's like a simple thing, but like there's not a lot of people that know how to build those relationships and
Mhm.
know who to contact and things like that and make it
Yeah,
more of an easier transition.
yeah. I would say
And
relationship building was just, like, that's truly the biggest thing in my 4 years, like, not being afraid to put myself out there, not being afraid to, go out of my way to make myself known, so.
what have you already realized from your position and working for the Cougars too that can
Mhm,
help you go forward? Because you mentioned you want to keep doing this, but maybe at a
mhm.
higher level or with another team. So what have you already taken from this that you can move forward?
Yeah, honestly, I think adaptability. Like, I, again, got shoved to a town I have never been to with a family I do not know in an organization that I don't know anyone. Like, and I just have kind of rolled with the punches. Like, I have had this has been some of the most fun I've had in the past 2 weeks. Like, it's just, I think adaptability in this role, especially and at the Cougars, definitely, because again, things can change in a second on what's going on in baseball. And if a promotion goes wrong, like, you have to be able to adapt and be like, oh my God, get them off the field. So that definitely started there. But here, even more than anywhere, like, I have had to break out of my shell in ways I couldn't even thought. I consider myself a severe extrovert, big personality, but even more here, I've had to, just kind of like put myself out there and be not afraid to, make relationships and be able to like make myself big almost. Like, I can't be small. Like, I have to make myself big because I want to be known for what I've done here. Like, that's my plan. At the end of the year, I want to be able to look back and be like, oh my God, like, I made an impact on this community. I made an impact in the position. And what they're potentially going to be looking forward and hiring in the next person to take over this role. So definitely, like, I know that sounds silly, but building kind of a legacy in those kind of roles and being able to be like, hey, I did that. This is where I started, and this is where I am, going to be next. So I would say just learning to be adaptable, learning to make myself big and make myself known. And definitely just like, again, learning from everything. Not everything is going to be perfect. And that is a hard realization, especially for somebody like me. But being able to just take that and move forward and learn from it next time and be like, hey, this is what I'll do different next game. And this is what I'll learn. Like, again, my first pregame interview I did last weekend, I was like, that was not great. I don't love it. Like, I know I'm better than that. And then this past weekend I did it and I thought I knocked it out of the park. And I'm my own biggest critic, but I'm also like learning to be my own biggest hype man. Like, if I'm not doing it, who else is going to do it? Like, you've got to be able to, appreciate what you do and what you love and your work. So I think definitely taking all of those and being able to hopefully translate it to the next level of either whether it's a position that's more in arena host, less on air, or more in, on air, less in arena host. Like, either way, I love both of the jobs that I do with this organization because it's kind of split, but I love being able to connect to all the people within the organization, outside of the organization, and just being able to form bonds. So definitely just like building on my relationship building. So
It's all about growth and the small victories. That's what you live in this
definitely.
business. Yep. 7 years in, that's the biggest thing for me.
Yeah.
Lily, where can people see your work at?
I will be on the Shamrocks YouTube channel, obviously their Instagram. So I think all of the handles are Shamrocks NAHL. And then I will be on my own personal Instagram, lily.shoots.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, Lily, appreciate you hopping on and hanging with me on Cousins Conversations.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me.
All right. See you on the next episode, everybody.
See ya.
If you enjoyed this conversation, don't forget to subscribe and drop a comment. Have a great week, everybody.